In New Brunswick who are going to bed hungry at night. And it's time that we start to ask some of those questions. You know, even the Minister of Finance in New Brunswick was asking questions last week about why are there so many people on welfare? And I think that that's a good question to ask. Because really, if you look at the reality of the world today, that more businesses are sitting on top of huge pots of money and not reinvesting them the way that they promised that they would. We need to ask questions. We need to ask questions of government. We need to ask questions of business. And we need to ask questions of each other. And ultimately, I hope that we'll begin to ask each other, what kind of a society is it that we want? One where 1% of the people live in tremendous wealth and 99% live in poverty? Or is it one where there's a more fair and equal distribution? One where we care for each other with greater compassion? You know, I may be a Christian, but I do recognize that all world religions are united around one thing, and I believe all people are basically united around one idea, that we need to care for each other, that we need to ask ourselves, what is it that I would want my brother or sister to do for me so that I can do that for them? Maybe we need to begin to realize and ask questions about costs in this province, because the costs aren't nearly as important as what the results are. I don't know how many of you realize that it costs the New Brunswick government, according to a study that was done by a Dr. Saunier out of Halifax, $500 million a year in terms of the cost of poverty in this province. I don't know how many of you realize that according to a recent study that was done by the Canadian, by the Rideau Institute, which focuses on peace, that the cost of additional security since 9/11 in Canada is $96 billion. The cost to end world hunger is $20 billion a year. It seems that we've gotten our priorities a little screwed up over the last 30 years. And so it's good to ask questions. It's good to gather together, to stand in solidarity with each other here in New Brunswick, but also with our brothers and sisters around the world, and especially with those in the Horn of Africa. It's time that we begin to focus much more on human need than on corporate greed. I'm glad that there are others here this afternoon. And we're going to be hearing from about 4 other people at this point. The first one's going to be Krista Davis.